Hello everyone, welcome to my first video. Today's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to get straight into it. I'm going to do some brand new fashion frame for the brand new Warframe Zaku. Now Zaku took me a little bit to get some fashion frame. I really like his design. It's, I personally think, one of the best in the game. And his idle animation is really nice. So that gave him plenty of ideas for putting together a few fashion frames. Now I don't have the largest fashion, I guess, arsenal under my belt, so I don't have all the armor sets or anything like that. I actually have quite few out, so I was just going with what I have and putting together what I guess looks nice. Now I only have names for 2 of these. If you guys would like to come up for a name for this first one here, then feel free to drop that in the comment section below of what you should think this one here should be named. But anyway, I'm just gonna get straight into the color palette and the I guess the process for putting this first design together. Now the weapon of display for this this video here for Zaku is going to be the Piranha Prime. If you'd like to see my build for it, even though it has nothing, here's my build that I'm running for it. I'm running Corrosive with a Riven. So yep. But back into Zaku. So for the color palette here, we're going to be using the classic saturated color palette and just the standard black for the primary. For the secondary, we're also using the classic saturated and the standard white. For the tertiary colors, we're going to be using classic saturated again, and we're going to be using the color up here. I don't know what I like to call it blood red. Blood red, even though it's not. I just think that's a nice name. Or rusted blood. And then for the accent, we're going to be using classic saturated black again. And then for emissive, we're going to be using bright red from classic saturated. I'm pretty sure this color, the only color palette I use for this one is classic saturated, so that you only need to have one purchased color palette. And as you can see, I only have 3 anyway. And for the energy, you're going to be just using the basic white. For the attachments, we're going to be using the Arca shoulder guards, and for those it'll just be copy main colors, except I've changed the accent to white, so we get those nice white stripes. We're going to be not running a chest armor. I just didn't really think it was necessary. I'm currently running the Fey Path Inferior, and I'm also running the Dex Saka knee guards. For those, I also same color palette. And then when it comes to the Cyandana, I'm gonna be running the Salix Cyandana, which I just hit copy and change the accent to full black. I personally really like this Cyandana. It's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite in the game. And then for the Regalia, we're going to be running the Solaris emblem on both sides, with the front sigil being the emissary sigil that's just been dropped down. I really like this one. This is one that I run for most of my missions when I'm running Zaku, who is easily one of my favorite frames. I love the design behind Zaku. And yeah, so if you guys have a name for this specific colorway for Zaku, then feel free to drop it below. But until that, we're going to be changing on to the second one. Now this one I like to call Glacier Zaku. This one took me around about 15 to 20 minutes of also just getting some concepts together from other stuff. But this is what we're going to be running now. We're going to be running Piranha Prime, and then for the color palette, it's mainly running off the classic saturated again. So we'll just get into that. And so for the colors that we specifically use, primary, we're just using the second white, one of the 4 whites that you can access. And then for the secondary, we're going to be using classic black from classic saturated. For the tertiary color, we're going to be using this here. Honestly, I don't know its name, so don't judge. And then for our accents, we're going to be using a ice blue, which gives it that really nice glow. And then for emissive, we're just going to be using classic white again. It's pretty simple, this one. And for energy, we're going to be using ice blue again. For attachments, we're going to be using the Riv Elite arm guards, of which I just copied the main colors and changed the accents to black. And for the chest guard, we're going to be using the Dex XAKU chest guard, and that, you know, it has to run off the same colors. So, and we're using the Fey Path Inferior again. That's the one that I'm going to be using on all the Zaku fashion frames for today. And then for the Sindana, we're going to be running the Prisma Yamoko Sindana, which I really haven't changed the colors on, just because I thought the base fit anyway. But I did figure out that by changing the accents to black, and changing the secondary color to black, you could just copy main colors. It's really up to you what you run, but I thought this Sindana just itself looked very nice for this specific fashion frame. Now coming up for the Regalia, we're going to be using the Solaris emblem again, and we're going to be, for the front sigil, we're going to be running the Nava signal right under the chest, the chest attachment, and you can't really see it. I just thought it was nice to have it there for the people who do notice it. And yeah, I personally, this is one of my favorites. Gives me Frozone vibes, but I really like it. It's also really cool to use in combat because of the energy colors. But yeah, and now we're going to be moving on to the third colorway for Zaku that I've put together, and this one is going to be the, what I call Artifact Zaku. So for Artifact Zaku, which definitely gives off prime, prime style, I guess vibes in a way. Sorry for using the word vibes, but anyway, yeah, it gives off a very prime look. I personally really like what I've done with this one too, but anyway, we'll get straight into the color palette and what I've done with this one here. So we power into prime once again, and then we're going to be using the no Zaku helmet changes, by the way, because I don't actually have Zaku's other helmet, even though I would have loved to experiment with it. So for this one here, we're going to be using black, classic saturated black as our primary. Our secondary, we're going to be using I guess a rusty gold that you can find right there, and for our tertiary color, we're going to be using this right here. I don't know its name once again, so and then for our accents, we're going to be using the I guess a little more opaque, not opaque, but shiny gold, just to give it that bit more of a glow. And then for emissive, we're just going to be using the standard gold yellow on classic saturated, and for the energy, we're going to be rolling with white for this time around. Now for the attachments, we're going to be running with the Dex XAKU chest guard again, simply because the only other chest guard I have is a Prisma, which does not fit Zaku in my opinion, so I was just running with that. And we're going to, for the arm attachments, we're going to be using the Riv Elite arm guards again. I personally think that this fit this style really well for Zaku. Fey Path Inferior, as I said before, the only one I'll be using for Zaku. And I just copied the colors and changed the accent to a brown Dushkus gold, which I thought looked really nice on Zaku. For the Sindana, I'm running the Parotia Sindana. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, feel free to crucify me, but Parotia Sindana, and I've just hit copy main colors and changed the accent to black, just so it's easier to look at when you're from behind. I personally don't like having white Sindanas, and I think that looks really clean. For the Regalia, once again, I'm not running a Regalia this time around. However, one that I thought looked quite nice was the Old Blood emblem. I think it fits the colors quite nicely. and I'm not running a front seal as well. I just honestly didn't really feel that it needed it. This is probably my second favorite. I really like this colorway for Zaku, and I just think that I just really like the I guess the aesthetic that it gives off. And yeah, so that is those are just the three colorways that I've put together for Zaku for now. Yeah, none of them are like super or crazy or anything, and I also tried to make them quite simple, so almost anyone can recreate them if you do like them. Now remember, of course, you can change these up however you want, and feel free to you know, send me what you've done with these if you do decide to change them around. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this short video on some basic Zaku fashion frames, and yeah, enjoy grinding, and I'll catch you guys later.
Oh my nigga, I slip not. Won't fall, my nigga, I slip not. Won't fall, my nigga, I slip not. I won't be dead, misled in head, I never break. Won't fall, my nigga, I slip not. Won't fall, my nigga, I slip not. Won't fall, my nigga, I slip not. I won't be dead, misled in head, I never break. It's only one, three. Lost in the pessimistic state of perception is